Hey again, welcome back to Let's Talk. And my name is Nona, of course. But I'm currently in a series where I'm really trying to help you build emotional resilience, because the idea behind emotional resilience is that you can bounce back from setbacks, you can bounce back from discouragements, you can bounce back from things that maybe even made you angry or somehow sparked an emotional response. But you're not just bouncing back, you're bouncing back better. That's my goal for you. Is I want, when the inevitable disappointments of life happen, when the inevitable just things that make you say, what? When that happens, I want you to have the tools that you need in order to experience those situations, but not spiral such that you actually revert back to bad habits you may have had in the past, or bad thought patterns that just don't serve who you are in the Lord. All right. So last week I talked about just a few strategies to help build that muscle of bouncing back. I talked about the importance of reframing your failures, which really is all about learning to see them from a different perspective. I also talked about the importance of identifying and building a support community. So a group of people who can work with you to help lift you out of whatever toxic spiral you might be in because of your experiences. And then I talked about developing a growth mindset, this idea that when things happen to us, or when things happen that we don't like, instead of saying, why did this happen to me, or why did this happen? The question becomes, how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Because when you start to develop that growth mindset, what it actually does is it restores your agency. I think one of the things that actually ends up creating the opposite of emotional resilience in my mind is kind of like emotional degradation. I think what happens is we lose hope. We lose a sense of agency. We lose a sense that we have any control over the situation. And so instead of bouncing back better, we actually end up reverting into a state of learned helplessness. But that is not God's will for you. That is not God's will for any of us. And so today what I want to do is I want to talk about how to build the muscle of self-awareness. One of the things that I have experienced in my own life, I will readily admit it, and it's something that I've certainly seen in others, is that we will expend more energy denying our emotional state than bouncing back from our emotional state. So for example, let's say you applied for a job and you didn't get the job. Instead of saying, man, that really discouraged me, or that really hurt me, if somebody asks, hey, how do you feel about it? You're like, oh man, I'm fine. Yeah, I mean, I it was competitive. I'm sure they picked the best person. Where in your heart, you feel hurt, you feel rejected, right? That's natural. I don't know why we have somehow gotten to a place where we think that it is unnatural to have emotions. Listen to me. God created emotion. God was the one who decided that emotions mattered. Not only that, Jesus displayed emotions. He displayed the full range of emotions, everything from happiness to sadness. He displayed anger. He displayed grief. He displayed it all. And yet we will deny that we feel anything. And I think we do that because we've been made to believe that emotions are somehow a signal of weakness. But I believe that our emotional state is simply a signal. It's not a signal of weakness. It's just a signal. It's telling us that there's something going on in our heart, in our mind, and in our spirit that we need to pay attention to. And so I think in order to get to that place, though, we have to begin to build self-awareness. I will tell you that for so many years, I denied that my childhood hurt me. I denied that anything my mom did hurt me. I denied it because I didn't want to hurt. And I think sometimes that's what happens, is because we don't want to hurt, we deny that we're hurt. But denying what is doesn't make it less so. Okay? Denying how we feel doesn't make it less so. I talk about in the gift of rejection how the pain that we don't acknowledge, it doesn't go away. It simply changes form. And I think this is why some of us, we have what some may consider to be antisocial personalities. It's not because we're actually antisocial, but it's because we have been hurt by people. And instead of acknowledging the hurt, instead of dealing with the hurt, we say, I'm just not going to go around people because I can't trust people. You see what I'm saying? So we have to build the self-awareness to recognize what we're carrying. And the fact that what you don't address, it doesn't go away. My hope and my prayer for you, truly, my hope and my prayer for you is that you will get to a place that you recognize that hiding how you feel does not make it not real, like hiding your sadness, your discouragement, your anger, your disappointment. That doesn't make it not real. It's still there. And as a matter of fact, God knows how you feel. So what I want to help you do is I want to help you just figure out how to start getting to the root of the emotions that are still there that may not be acknowledged. So a few practices that I want you to think about. The first is just observe your emotions. When you have a strong emotional reaction, and it may not even be visible to other people, it may just be, and it may just be that you feel something that you have to now exert extra energy to act like you don't feel it. So my husband and I will celebrate 21 years of marriage this year. And if you've been married for more than 2 hours, you'll know that I don't think anybody on earth can bring out your emotions the way that your spouse does. And one of the things that we have found, so we have over the last, 6-7 months been going to marriage counseling, which is something I wish we would have done many, many years ago. But we've been going to marriage counseling. And one of the things that has been fascinating is, we'll be in a session and, our therapist will ask a question like, hey, tell me about a time when something happened. And, I'll explain, a situation, and my husband will explain a situation. But then we'll be like, yeah, but that was so long ago. And, we're over it. We really want to talk about other things. And what'll happen is the therapist will say, oh, okay, I got it. Cool. Well, before we move on, let me ask you a couple questions about that. And within about 7 minutes at the most, my husband and I will go from calm, cool, and collected to ready to scream because that thing that we said happened so long ago, we're over it. We never dealt with it. And so what'll happen is when it gets triggered, when something happens that reminds us of that thing, we will exert a lot of energy to act like it doesn't bother us. But in those sessions with that therapist, because she's poking and she's prodding and she's not letting us just hide behind, our pretense of being okay, she's not letting us do that. The emotions that are hidden beneath the veneer of we're okay start to bubble up and come out. And so what I would suggest is the next time you have an experience where you start to just feel a strong emotion, whether it's sadness, disappointment, anger, confusion, humiliation, shame, there's a feelings wheel, and I'm actually going to put it in the comments because I want you to access it. There's a feelings wheel that provides what I call primary, secondary, and tertiary language for emotions. So primary emotions are the things that we might say like, oh, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm happy. Okay. But within those broad sweeping categories, there are actually words to describe the type of anger, the type of sadness, the type of happiness. And even within those categories, right, there's still more language to describe the tertiary description of those emotions. And so I want you to observe those emotions when they happen. And to the best of your ability, using that feelings wheel, I want you to assign a descriptor, a word What is this emotion that I feel right now? Observe it. And then I want you to ask yourself, what is triggering this right now? What is triggering this? The action, sure, that's absolutely part of it. But what is it about the action that's triggering this? What is it about what happened that's making me angry or sad or making me really happy, making me giddy? Like, what is it about it that's triggering that? And then I want you to start a journal. Just keep a journal of, what happened and how you felt. And as you start to ask those questions about why am I feeling this way, I want you to keep that journal and ask yourself, yeah, why am I feeling this way? What is it about this that caused me or that enabled me to feel the way that I feel? Keep that journal so that when you look back over time, you'll be able to see patterns. Because that's the goal, is you want to start to see the pattern of the why, not just the what. Why, then the what, okay? And then number 3, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but check in with your body. Listen, the body absolutely keeps the score. And that's a book. It's a book that I think is really important to read if you've ever experienced any type of trauma at all. But it's true. I mean, our body has a way of showcasing what we want to hide. We may want to hide that we're sad, but the tears still fall. They even fall involuntarily. We're trying so hard to hold them back, but those things fall. I've been there. We're trying hard to act like everything's okay, but we are so angry, trying to act like everything's okay. But our words become sharp, our tone becomes sharp, our body posture becomes sharp, but we're trying to put a smile on it. Pay attention to your body, because your body is giving you signals about what's really happening within you. And the entire point of really what I want to share with you in this is you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. You cannot get to a place of resilience without first getting to a place of awareness. Okay, what is it that I'm feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What was it about this situation that actually triggered me? What is it that I believe about myself, that I believe about the other person, that I believe about the situation that triggered me? Let me write this down so that over time I can actually notice if there's a pattern to this. And then let me check in with my body. When I start to feel tense, when I have a headache, when my cheeks hurt because I'm smiling so much, like, why is that? I believe that these are some tactics that will help you start to build some self-awareness. And that is my goal in all of this, is to help you get to a place where on the other side of the thing, you are better. Not always because of it, because we don't ever wish for bad things to happen. But when they do, we will have the tools to bounce back better on the other side of it. So, next week, we're going to talk about another component relative to emotional resilience and building that resilience. And if you are finding these to be helpful, I would ask you to subscribe to this channel. I would ask you to go ahead and like this video. And as I mentioned last week, I want to say again, I have a monthly group coaching program that's for women called Success Circle. And if it's something that you would like to join, if you want to go deeper in these understandings and practices and insights, I would love to have you in Success Circle. You can learn more about it in the caption, but I promise you it is highly valuable, and the women who are participating are experiencing life change already. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I will be back next week with another texture to our journey to build emotional resilience. I'll see you then.